we got a new camera. Trying to figure this out. Let's see if we can turn this around. Look at this beautiful day. Beautiful winter day. Sick. All right, this is dope. Let's go. Yeah, I've been waiting to kind of fire one of these up to, just get back into filming. Get back into the content game, figure this out. But I think this is gonna be a really cool little thing to have. Yeah, I think compared to an iPhone, this is quite a bit better. We're in the new digs. I'm in the new place here. Still coming together, but yeah, I've been super happy so far. Who would have thought, been living out in my hometown, moving back to my hometown. It's pretty crazy. Got these beautiful decks. The weather's just been unbelievable lately for winter. It's freezing cold, but it's really, really nice. So yeah, wow, this is crazy. Let's go. Gotta get back into these. Gotta start documenting a little bit more. Filming some stuff, and get back on the posts. Been looking forward to this. It's fun being creative with this. Gives me a good project, different part of the mind. I find for me that's it's quite cool. Something I probably don't get into as much as I should. It's gonna be nuts getting used to this. This is so wild, so different than an iPhone. But I think this, the actual camera ability here looks really, really good. Hope everyone's doing well. 2026, brand new year. Can't believe it's already almost end of January. The year went fast, as it always does. But we're getting after it. Really, really pumped so far. Feeling really good about this year. Super happy. Just, a lot of opportunity, and mentally just feeling really, really good, man. One thing I wish for everyone is just, being excited about life. What a feeling, just waking up, feeling like the day is yours, the world is yours, and you just have time, time to do whatever you want, whatever you feel pulled to, whatever that thing is a really, really cool feeling. So I've been feeling more of that lately. And spending more time with family. Big part of being down here was being close to my mom. Parents are getting a little bit older, so spending time in person with them really means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to them too, having their son around. But getting used to this again. Still trying to figure out kind of what content I want to get back with. I think kind of an interesting part of my kind of YouTube thing is because it's just a lot of real life for me. It's funny because I actually have to live life. I need to learn things. I need to do things, experience things, have things work out, not work out, whatever it is. And then I take those learnings and I do a video like this and just kind of, share my thoughts, my feelings, my takeaways, perspectives. Just document kind of my life evolving as I learn more, as I, get to know myself better. And just, bring things to life in the world that, I've always wanted to do or been curious about, such as, making videos, kind of doubling down more artistic sense with something like this. So this investment into this camera is to take that to the next level. Also just kind of, add in a little bit more excitement. Switching it up is cool. And but I want to do some updates just in terms of, what I've been learning. Last 6 months have been crazy, went from living abroad all of last year, first time living outside of the country, outside of the continent. In Bali, as many of you know, Bali, Singapore, Thailand, spending time in Southeast Asia overall. And now we're back. We're back 5 minutes from actually where I grew up. Ever since about grade 2, came out here, grew up in a two-bed apartment. My mom, my sister, and I. And humble beginnings. To be here now and just a beautiful space that I can call my own here. This has been cool because I've actually had to get furniture for this place, because all of the Airbnbs that I was in, all the different places I was in. Oh, we got all my books back in there, pumped to get more of those. But yeah, all the places I was in was furnished Airbnbs, furnished rentals, stuff like that. So yeah, getting a bare bones apartment again and having to furnish it was quite the task. So it's actually come together. Pretty proud of myself. I picked out, pretty much everything I think myself. My mom loves design, so super fun project. She loves this stuff. I wouldn't say I like it by any means, but I'll do it if I have to. Better than sitting on the floor. When I first moved in here, I think I had just a bed and a desk for like the first month. It was pretty late on getting things, and now played around with this. I'm super happy with this desk setup. I played around with a couple of different kind of setups for this room. I still need to fix up the wires. They're still a little bit messy. This is cool too. If you guys have seen these light lamps, but it like mirrors sunlight on the days where it's not that sunny, but you can see that thing freaking gets bright when I'm sitting there. Still got a bit of a cold, but yeah, I've been really liking this this desk setup. I had everything kind of facing the window for the first round, and that was okay. But it's North America out here. The weather sucks quite often throughout, especially the winter, like we are in now. So yeah, getting this desk set up where I'm just looking not exactly at the window. But I still have all the view, all the natural light, everything like that out to my left is perfect. And yeah, I've been focused, just started getting back into writing. That was one thing that when I was in Bali specifically, I was just like, that's the most I've ever written in my life. And I think because of all that writing, there was so much, kind of thought, energy, things kind of able to come to the surface that then I was able to, share with the camera or just even learn about myself. And I found a lot of that required a little bit more of an input. And I realized that input was reading. So essentially anytime I'm reading, even if it's, 10 minutes a day, once I have something to respond to, that seems to really kind of spark my brain, spark my kind of, spark kind of getting into those different states of mind, understanding, and just bringing ideas to the surface. So, obviously, just to think of something and resonate with it right away, that can happen. But, if I'm reading a book right now, I'm reading Rick Rubin's book about creativity. I think it's called, let me see what it's called here. The Creative Act Way of Being. I think it's something like that. Let's see. Bam. Let's go. We got the old Reality Transurf. One of my all-time favorites. You guys have seen that before, but no, it's this one here. Still getting figure out how to use that camera, but yeah, right there. So that's been really, really good. Just kind of, tapping into that creativity again, and just kind of, prompting me in different ways, shape, and form with language, just to kind of, get some internal questions being asked to myself. And I find that started to prompt my writing again. So I've been journaling more, kind of 20, 30 minutes a day. Most of the, what's it called? Stream of consciousness. So, yeah, just, writing kind of whatever comes to mind, kind of, really kind of taking things that are just, floating around your head, and addressing them and bringing awareness to them, bringing it into the light, because I think the human brain is 50,000 or 80,000 active thoughts a day, something like that. But obviously our conscious mind is very, very, 1%, 0.1%, I don't even know what it is, but your conscious mind is definitely not able to focus on 80,000 thoughts. So, for me, just, getting back to the reading, getting back into writing has really, really helped. Just kind of my ability, I think, to kind of boil down, okay, what am I learning? What's the lesson? What's the takeaway? What's the action step moving forward? How am I feeling? Kind of tapping in more to those things. And that's really my goal with this YouTube channel, is still just to, share my authentic journey, doing what I'm doing and just becoming my best self and kind of, mind, body, spirit, but more importantly, I think every area in my life. I think I started on here and one of the, core things that I think I mentioned was like struggling with depression, stuff like that. Ever since I was a kid, off and on and yeah, just having a hard time, simply having a good time. I think that's it. I'm super analytical. I think a lot. I like to spend a lot of time alone because I like to think, but your brain can also inhibit a lot of things, and you need to learn to live in your body as well. The brain and the body are so different. Both serve great purposes, but you need that balance. So yeah, but I think it's really, really cool because I think living abroad, I think that really was, one of the pieces I needed in my personal journey to understand that, hey, it's not the city. It's not necessarily me. It's not, it's not necessarily the things around me. I think it's easier to kind of get into thinking our material world is affecting us in a way. Oh, if I had this, or oh, if I didn't have that in my surroundings, things would be XYZ different. But for me, one of my key takeaways from Bali was you can feel just as good somewhere completely, for instance, that's literally on the other side of the world. So I'm on the other side of the world. Everyone in North America is sleeping, and, I'd be going through very similar emotions, very similar, thoughts, both positive and negative on both those ends. And for me, that was really the kind of evidence, personal evidence that I needed to understand that, hey, it's not living in Canada, it's not living in the States, it's not living in Bali, certain things, like you can have a bad day in Germany, you can have a bad day in Canada, you can have a bad day in the Arctic, you can have a bad day in the desert, and I think for me, creating life evidence, creating a real experience of evidence and have that understanding, really, I think gave me a lot more mobility in terms of how I'm living and where I'm living, in terms of, as soon as I could afford to, around 2021, my first business, which was personal training, moved out to Vancouver, moved out to the nearest biggest city, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, didn't know, where I wanted to live, but I knew that White Rock, this place I'm in now, being just such a small place, I very much felt kind of in a bubble, and I felt kind of suffocated by that bubble in a way. And I think probably a lot of people can resonate with that, just feeling suffocated by, I think, your hometown, because the people in it, your friends, everything like that, very, very, not a lot of it is novel. Yet when we go to a new place and meet new people and all this stuff, there's all this novelty, and novelty really sparks, at least for me, I think for most people, new patterns, new way of thinking, new ideas, new discoveries, and vice versa. The lack of novelty, where everything's the same, you're talking to the same people, you're living in the same place, you're wearing the same clothes, having similar conversations, even topics wise, stuff like that. It's easier to feel stagnant. It's easier to feel stuck. It's easier to feel like you're out of control and you're kind of living in a pattern that is set for you, rather than, able to really step out of that lane and step into your own lane. So I think that was my biggest takeaway living in Bali for a year was, boom, okay, I took myself out of this bubble. I put myself in a completely foreign place by myself. And I then was able to kind of redevelop myself, reconnect with myself. Now I'm, back in, funny enough, 5 minutes from where I grew up, but I feel completely differently. I still feel expansive, despite living in a city that used to really feel confined to me. It used to feel small. It used to feel almost like suffocating in a way. So yeah, really cool takeaway. I think, probably a lot of people can resonate with that, but I think when you're changing, when you're evolving, it can be hard to change and evolve in front of or with the people that have seen every other version of you, you know, and you probably had that. If you're, you know, if you got some new goals and you're maybe telling your friends one day, you're telling your buddies, hey, I'm going to do this, or I'm fired up about this. And your buddies say, oh, you're not going to do anything with that. Or, you know, oh, you've been talking about that for a while. Like same old, same old. It's not going to happen, you know? Versus if you're, you know, sharing an interesting idea with a brand new person you've never met, they're probably not going to say, oh, you know what? That sounds like a stupid idea. I don't think you're going to do that. And that's the kind of, you know, pro and con of both, you know, people knowing you really, really well. And as, you know, simple as those words can be, it can still impact, I think, a lot. I think it can go deeper than a lot of people, a lot of us even think. In the moment, you know, if we're feeling stuck, if we're feeling, you know, not able to step into that identity, having your friend, having your mom, having your, sibling, you know, say, hey, I don't think you're going to do that. You know, for some people that works, but for me, you know, that wasn't super, you know, that didn't help light the fire in me to authentically go and pursue that direction. But removing all that noise, kind of keeping things more to myself, you know, going to the other side of the world and just kind of sitting in a room with complete silence and just being like, hey, well, what do I want to do? You know, what's you know, what are the signals my body and my soul, and the clues actually my body and my soul leaving for me that I might not be tapping into because of these patterns of energy, because of these patterns of conversation with people around me, because patterns of how I'm interacting in the world with the world in certain places. And I think that's, you know, one of the beauty of our environment is I think one of the easiest ways to change your nervous system, you know, change how your body's functioning and moving. Is so powerful. So, you know, whether it's, you know, going to, like, I love views. So something that's super important to me that I recognize in Bali is having a sight line that is far really helps me think and helps me feel expansive and kind of, you know, visualize and kind of feel, I think expansive is the biggest way to put it. Versus if I'm just looking at a wall, you know, that doesn't fire me up so much. So obviously, you know, I feel so fortunate to be able to live in a place where I can have that as my home, something like that with a view. But even when I couldn't afford that, I wasn't there yet, you know, driving to a mountain where there's like a viewpoint and you can look out, going to the beach, looking over the water, you know, those are the things I used to do. Now I'm fortunate enough, you know, to be living here and have this out my my door here. But you know, it's just been super cool, man. I'm just feeling so lucky, so grateful. You know, a big part of my New Year is spending time with loved ones in person. So, you know, Bali, not being able to see my mom, you know, my sister, my dad and I's relationship's come a long way. So, you know, being able to spend time with him is really cool. And, you know, FaceTime is unbelievable. It's crazy how, you know, connected you can feel with loved ones on the other side of the world with FaceTime. But being in person, I find especially, you know, I'm about 29 now, but my parents getting a little bit older, their parents have now both passed on. So, you know, it's kind of an interesting time for them. So yeah, just being in person, able to support them, you know, just to show up and be in person is really special to me. And I'm super lucky and fortunate, you know, that I've had the opportunity to, come back here and get a good spot and tap into that. So yeah, really excited, feeling really good. I meant to buy this camera like 5-6 months ago, but of course it got put off. I've been working a lot on the 4 projects, kind of both pay the bills, kind of the you know, work stuff that I do in e-commerce, scaling e-commerce brands with paid ads. Going to get into more of that a little bit if people are interested, but yeah, really cool. You know, biggest takeaway here is there's probably going to be some gaps between these future videos because again, you know, I'm living stuff in real time. I'm you know, experiencing things, growing, and my goal is to come back and share And I'd love to hear dialogue from your guys' side. Anyone watching this, what are you going through? What's something cool that happened to you last year that, you didn't think would lead you to a new spot or a new way of thinking, or, a new relationship or connection? I'd be interested, to hear how are all of you moving forward in your own way. Kind of what does that look like? And what are you looking forward to this year? It's crazy, every year, Jan to December, and then it just switches over, starts all over again. Pretty crazy, but it's amazing. Always just a really, really great step to similar to the Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday. As soon as that Monday comes around again, it's that opportunity for you to just hit pause, and hit play, fresh start, right? Monday today is not Monday last week. It's always a brand new day. And with brand new day becomes, brand new opportunity. And, the affirmations I'm still really sticking with is today's going to be an amazing day. I can't wait to see what happens. I say that every single morning. And it allows me to be surprised when life gives me these beautiful little experiences or clues or kind of signals or pulses that line up with my vision and kind of where I want to go. And I kind of use that frame to find evidence of what is happening for me that's getting me closer to where I want to go. And vice versa. The other one, which is a deeper layer from reality transurfing, is my world cares, my world takes care of me. And the biggest one is my world takes care of me even better than I can take care of myself. And I found that affirmation, really realized when I first started, going after kind of money success, wanted to earn first 6 figures a year, and started doing the personal training business, stuff like that. Got to 8 to 10K a month at like 19. And I realized, like, man, money was not the answer. Like, money did not make me feel the way that I thought it was going to make me feel. And that was a very interesting thing where I thought what was best for me was working my face off to earn that money, and that I was going to feel a certain way or something in my life was going to happen once I was earning that money. And what I realized there, once I got to that mountain peak, is money is not the driving force for me. Like, if I'm making $1 million a year, 100K a year, 5 million, my personal fulfillment doesn't necessarily reflect the number, more reflects what I'm doing. So if I feel like I have a higher impact making less, from a fulfillment basis, like, that is more meaningful to me than just this number. And that was super cool. And that's an experience that I had to go through, climbing that mountain of making X amount of money to get to the top of that mountain, at least the first little summit, the first little peak. So it's a very, very big mountain if you want to keep climbing that one. But then I realized on that mountain, that first summit, I actually want to go over there. That's what I wanted to, that's the place I really wanted to go. And the whole thing of, my world cares, my world knows how to take care of me even better than I can take care of myself, would be an example of, if I'm chasing money for a hidden desire that I may not even be able to fully put into words. If I'm chasing money and I think that it's going to solve this, hidden desire, life is going to bring me opportunities, experiences to allow me to find the thing that is really the answer to that desire, not the thing I think is the answer to that desire. And like, you guys can probably resonate with that, where you had this vision, you had this thing, whether it was a relationship, a goal of any kind, just anything. But then you get there and you realize, oh, that's actually not fully what I wanted. Maybe there's a piece of that I wanted, but it wasn't the whole thing. Now you have more clarity. Now life starts to bring you opportunities to really give you what you want. And such a great part of that affirmation. So I've been using that a lot. Just feeling, like every day is a gift. Super, super grateful with the just incredible people in my life right now, and just opportunities are flowing every day. I'm so grateful for, my friends, the impact they're having in their life, in their businesses, in their relationships. And, the fact that I just feel so grateful because I feel like I can learn at least something from like everyone in my life right now, which is like the coolest thing. And something I always strive for. I love it when, I feel like I can learn something for people, whether it's, understanding the perspective of a parent in the new way, kind of being open to that, or having a friend do something in business and getting to learn and experience that firsthand as well is really, really cool. So feeling grateful, stoked for this, grateful for you guys as well, and anyone watching these videos. Just so special to me. It's so cool. Always wanted to hop into these for a long time, so get back into this is really cool. Part of this space too is going to be amazing for just growing in my life. This is kind of my new launch pad, my new foundation that I'll be operating off of for most of this year. And yeah, subscribe, stay tuned for much more to come in the new place here. And yeah, talk soon, guys. Sending love from Canada, and hope everyone's doing well. See you in the next one.